All right, my friends, welcome back to Real Estate Bites, bringing you the goods on real estate and real estate news most Fridays. On occasion, I miss a Friday, but we're bringing you news here on the lunch hour, give you something to chew on in the middle part of your day as you're heading into the weekend. All right, so I want to talk about a subject. It's a narrative, a storyline that I'm hearing all the time in real estate news, and it's just patently untrue, in my opinion. So before I give my opinion, I want to pull up this video I saw because it spells it out perfectly. This is a video. I found it on YouTube. It's CNBC. They invite Don Peebles, the owner of Peebles Corporation, a high-end luxury market developer and property owner, to talk about what is the biggest problem for the working man in real estate today. And so let me cue this up here and get this video going so that you guys can give it a listen.
I know you have a mix of properties, Don, in New York and DC, Miami, San Francisco, Los Angeles. So you have sort of a broad view of the national picture. What's the biggest headache right now?
Interest rates are the biggest headache.
Interest rates. He says interest rates are the biggest headache in real estate right now. Okay, that's the thing that I'm saying is false. Let's let them go. Here we go.
Rates have nearly tripled, so the average homeowner or home purchaser cannot afford to buy anymore. They have to pay 3 times the cost of what they could have bought a property for 3 years ago or so, and that's really the biggest problem. And then you add to that escalating insurance costs, and then the property taxes have all risen over the past 4+ years as a result of COVID and the supply compression. So what you're seeing is affordability is driving that, and it's hitting at every level. And that's why you're seeing also multifamily starts declining significantly as well.
In terms of developing new properties, does that just put everything on hold? Are you continuing to pursue new opportunities, or where do you think things go from here?
Oh, no, things aren't on hold, but it's just different. So, for example, the ultra high net worth individual buyers, the ultra high end of housing is doing exceptionally well, especially in places like Miami and Palm Beach. We're starting at least one new project this year in Miami Beach, which will be an ultra luxury boutique condominium hotel in a neighborhood where single family homes are selling for $35 to $50 million.
Yeah.
And then we're seeing on the other side of the equation, our affordable housing business, Legacy, which has a pipeline now of 5,000 units and growing because there's a tremendous demand for affordable housing. And there's a backlog of about 7.5 million units. And so those two sectors are doing well. It's everything in the middle. It's the working affluent, and it's the middle class that is being squeezed in terms of housing markets.
Yes, it is. Okay. So he said the two markets that are doing well are the richy rich and the poor, right? The ultra luxury boutique and the welfare class, right? Those are the two sectors of real estate that are doing well, and it's the middle class that's being squeezed, and that is the truth. And it is about affordability. That is also the truth. But the fact that he blames it on interest rates is bushy. Okay, let me tell you why. I would argue that low interest rates are the reason affordability is such a problem right now. Okay, so he blames it on COVID. Let's take a little trip down memory lane. Okay, in March 2020, COVID happens. It becomes everyone becomes globally aware of COVID. Everyone around the world shits their pants, and But here's the thing: the coronavirus did not walk into City Hall or the State House and tell governors or federal officials to shut people's businesses down. Oh, it was fun though, because the big box stores and the giant corporations, they all were deemed essential, but the little mom and pops, you had to shut down. The coronavirus didn't walk into the Federal Reserve and whisper in Jerome Powell's ear, hey, you need to slash rates to an all-time low that's never been seen before. That didn't happen either, guys. Okay. These are human beings making policy decisions, not the bug. Okay. Yeah. People got sick. Unfortunately, some people died, but it was human beings who made the decisions to lower these interest rates. And then what happened was when those interest rates reached an all-time low, a never seen before low, it made money real cheap for the Mr. Peebles of the world. It made money real cheap for everybody. Okay. And people refied hand over fist. People took out mortgages hand over fist. They bought new homes. Investors bought up a third of the market. Okay. Investors, big and small, bought up a third of the market. Guilty. Okay. That is the reason why we have the affordability problems today. It's not the interest rates sitting here at 7%, which, by the way, is still about 70 basis points lower than historic average. These interest rates are actually kind of healthy. Okay. It's not the interest rates that are the problem. It is the lack of inventory that is the problem. Okay. You had such demand due to artificially low interest rates in 2020, 21, and 22. The inventory was gobbled up. The demand stayed high, and it pushed those home prices higher and higher and higher. And because there's no inventory coming on to replenish that which was lost during that time, home prices remain high. And as you've seen, if you've been watching the show, they keep getting higher. And here's the thing. They're sitting there talking about interest rates being the big problem. If interest rates come back down, it's only going to spur demand. What do you think is going to happen to home prices? Okay, they're going to go up. And this is not news. I've talked about this subject on this show a number of times, but the reason I bring it up here in this context, okay, the reason I bring it up here in this context is because it's misleading and it's dishonest. All right. These higher interest rates are not the problem for you and me in the middle class. They're a problem for Mr. Peebles and the like. Okay. Let's take a look at Mr. Peebles and the like, just to give a little more insight on where he's coming from when he complains about interest rates. Okay. So this is the Peebles Corporation website, where Don Peebles is the owner. And, listen, I'm not begrudging the man his wealth. I get up and I work hard every single day to try to grow mine. God bless him, right? But to say interest rates are the problem for the middle class, again, it's misleading and it's dishonest. How many people out there working the 9 to 5, at Highland Corp, at Sherwin-Williams? How many cops out there who watch this think that Mr. Peebles, let's take a look at his portfolio here. These are the properties that Mr. Peebles owns in Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, New York City. Okay. Look at the markets he's playing in, he's working in. These are his properties. All right. Luxury boutique. How many of you people that I just rattled off there working your 9 to 5 here in the greater Cleveland area think that Mr. Peebles is really in tune with what's ailing your home economics? Okay. I don't think so. So again, interest rates aren't the problem for you and I. They're a problem if you're a big time investor out there, a big money investor out there. Oh, and by the way, if you are, here, I got something for you. Give me a call. I got some ideas. Okay. But if you're the working middle class, it's not interest rates, it's inventory. That's the story, guys. And the thing that makes me upset about this continuing narrative that interest rates is the problem is because what are you going to do about it? Sitting out there watching this program, what am I going to do about it? There's nothing we can do about it. We have zero control over that. Why is he harping on it? Why do they keep talking about it when there's nothing that you and I can do about it? So we sit feeling hopeless and victims of a marketplace when the real answer is inventory. You get more inventory, right? You get more supply to match the demand. Home prices will come down. Okay. And there's something you can do about inventory, right? Call your local state rep. The state of Ohio has some fantastic bills that are sitting in front of our politicians that address inventory. These are tax credits. These are homestead exemption increases. These are zoning ordinance changes. These things exist right now. These are the 20 mil floor. I've done Real Estate Bite shows about all of these subjects. You can go back and look at them. They're all sitting there at the State House waiting for politicians to act on. Half of the bills that I just mentioned have been sitting in front of our politicians since 2023. So what you can do is call your local rep tell them to get off their ass and start putting these things into effect so that our contractors have an easier time building new homes, building new multifamily, right? So that it costs contractors less, so that they can be more competitive with one another, which is going to bring the price of homes down. Okay. If the price of new construction comes down and that makes it more marketable for more buyers, and instead of buying resale, they're buying more new construction, okay, especially affordable new construction. Listen, a builder can't build a home for less than $275,000, $300,000 and make money. They need to build a larger home like that to make the kind of money they need to keep their crews going, to pay the bills, okay? But if it costs them less to build and they can reduce the cost of those prices to something that is more affordable for the consuming public, then it puts more pressure on the resale homes. Prices come down. All right. We're not talking about a market crash. We're talking about slight corrections here, guys. And this is not an overnight fix either. This takes years to develop. But the problem is not interest rates, guys. The problem is inventory. If interest rates are addressed and pushed down, it's not going to be good. It's not going to create more affordability in the housing market. It will make, if you're pre-approved right now for $350 and interest rates come down, okay, yeah, you can now afford that $425,000 house that you were looking at, right? But if you're pre-approved for $185,000 and already struggling to find a solution right now, and interest rates come down, you are going to get priced out of the market in a heartbeat. All right. And under 250K is the largest group of buyers here in Northeast Ohio. If you're one of my out-of-state viewers and you don't know what's going on, if your state doesn't have initiatives going on like the great Buckeye State here, then it's time to talk to your reps too. But that's what you can do. You can't do anything about interest rates, which again, aren't the problem, but you can call your local state rep. If you're in Lorain County here with me, it's Joe Miller. All right. You can call him. You can write him an email. You can send him a letter. You can show up at the office, whatever, and say, hey, Joe, let's get cracking on these bills that are supposed to help the inventory and the housing supply here in Ohio to give some relief to Ohioans. Let's get cracking on this bill to address the 20 mil floor so that our property taxes can find some relief. Oh yeah, property taxes. They're up. They're affecting affordability. They're up because of artificially low interest rates, creating artificial demand that put the squeeze on inventory and drove prices up. It's not interest rates, guys. It's inventory. Stop listening to these people come on and talk about this kind of stuff when they're not in touch with what's really going on down here for the vast majority of this nation. All right. All right. I'm jumping off my soapbox, guys. It's time to get into this week's statistics. Bear with me. All right, here we go. So, again, I pulled these from the MLS. These are the statistics of the sales last week, with the exception of column C here. Column C is the amount of single-family homes and condominiums that were on the market today in Lorain County. So, there were 402 active listings on the MLS in Lorain County this morning. Again, this is not mobile homes and this is not multifamily. These are single families and condominiums. There were 65 closings the week leading up to today's show. The median square foot of the houses sold was 1,616. The median value or sale price of that home was $265,000. Hey, if you've been watching this, you get an idea of what houses typically look like in Ohio. It's a 1,700 square foot split level or ranch that's about $260,000 in value. That's the median, the typical home. Okay, median square foot value of closings last week, $175.62 per square foot of the homes sold last week. Again, I'm tracking this thing in real time. I mean, we started with a median square foot value of around 145. I mean, we're almost $20 higher on average than that right here. $164.90 was the last average median square foot value that I took. That was when Q1 2025 ended. right? Before that, it was 1.6, it was 159, 160, 156, 143. That's where we started. $144 a square foot was where we started when I started doing this show. We're $20 a square foot higher in just a year and a half. Okay. Home prices keep going up. If this 7.07% for a conventional note was 3.07%, which is what Mr. Peebles and all the developers who want the cheap money to go develop in the marketplaces like this, Miami Beach, Boston, San Francisco, New York City, Washington, D.C. I mean, the guy's operating in the most expensive bougie markets in the entire country, right? He's the one that needs these interest rates to go down to 3%. All right. Anyways, homes sold last week spent a total of 13 days on the market. They're flying, guys. They're still going really fast. It is a seller's market through and through. It's not like it was in 2021 where, I mean, literally, if you put a house on the market, you could just name your price and it was going to get bought up. It's not like that, but it is a strong seller's market. They're selling quickly. The prices keep going up. 7.07% was where a conventional 30-year note was this morning. And the big boy, $2.7 million in Avon Lake. Want to say, no, 3.9 in Avon Lake was the biggest one, but 2.7. It's been a while since we've seen one over 2.5. So 2.7 million in Avon Lake. Obviously, this one's on the lake. And of course, I want to see this. Love these houses on the lake. Take a look at this big brick beauty here. Okay. Make sure I'm not even showing you nothing. I apologize. Here we go. There we go. Look at that guy. Make sure. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay. I do love seeing how the other half live. All right. Love seeing what some of these folks do here with the decor. Try to get some ideas. Check out this kitchen. I love it. I love the wood grain cabinets with a stainless steel countertop. I mean, slick. It's slick. That looks really cool. Just a beautiful home, as you would expect, for $2.7 million. Got your posh, having a seat inside your closet here to put on your shoes. Nice. Love it. That's a wine cellar, folks. There was lots of wine in this place. So as you'd expect, the 2.7 million, that's the kind of view you should get. All right. Hey, that's all for today. I appreciate you guys joining me. Listen, if you like this stuff, share it with people. Okay. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this on Facebook because, when I try to get the message out, when I talk about bills that, state representatives are putting together, I get flagged by Facebook when I try to pay to boost this out so more eyes get on it. Facebook's always shutting my account down, not letting me pay. It's just weird. Every time I talk about, I wouldn't be surprised if, this video here, because I mentioned politicians, gets knocked down. But I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it on Facebook. Share this with friends and family. I might just move it all over to YouTube and share reels out here on social, to try to get attention. But again, if you like this stuff that I'm bringing you, please share it with friends and family. I think it's important. We all need a place to live. Real estate is something that affects every single one of us every single day, especially if you're a homeowner, right? We talk about property taxes. We talk about laws that are going in effect that's going to affect your home value. We talk about ways to improve your home. We talk about the best strategies to employ as buyers or sellers in this market. So if you like this content, bring it to the attention of friends and family. I appreciate everybody who joins me every week. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. I love you, people.